Gibby, what do you got for us?
You could let's be clear about this.
You lost to $2,000. Welcome back to Gus and Gawny featuring Gibby. I've never run that off the top, but I kind of like it.
Wow.
Do you remember back in MSN days when you would have your name on MSN? Are you old enough for MSN? Yeah.
Yep.
You're not much younger than me. And you'd have your name, and if someone was over, like you're having a play date, you'd put FT this person.
Sure.
That's who we've got.
We're featuring Gibby.
Gibby's come over for a sleepover, and we're featuring Gibby.
Weird. I like it.
Yep. How are you, Gibby?
Going well. Been a bit of a break.
Yep.
How'd you use your?
We had the bye last week.
Break,
yeah. So took some time to refresh. Feeling good. Good to be back.
It's a tough caper. We had back-to-back 6-day breaks with 47 people go down with COVID, almost.
Well, still funny to you, Max? Or
yeah, I'm starting to find it less funny.
Yep, sure.
If we lose any more, I think the
humour might
is
start
out.
wearing off.
The humour's gone. Like Goody was funny. That you got to admit that's pretty funny.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we get Ooze in. Ooze is 1 from 1.
Yep.
Funny.
It's funny.
Jacko, Petty, less funny.
Sure.
Yeah. Sparrow, Nibbler, kind of funny.
Sure. Well, look, mate. It's it's your hot take, and we wouldn't want
thing.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to steal your thunder. You went with that pretty early on in the piece. That COVID was a gag, so we won't take that from you. But it's I mean, we had a good break. You know, we got away. We reset, refreshed.
I think you did a smart social media post because
Yep.
there would have been a lot of speculation that Brayshaw, Gawn, or Gibson had gone down with COVID.
Yeah, that was behind closed doors, and we'll open it up a little bit for the Gus and Gawny loyal supporter base. There was a lot of toing and froing about how best to sort of announce that we might have to have a week off without giving up too much info, and I decided the classic on the beach heads cropped on, and it was well received. So we didn't actually go to the beach. We were in the trenches hard at work, and it was a good win against St Kilda. Sorry.
Wow.
It's going early.
You know, Fox Footy loves to take everything that you say.
So that'll be a headline. It was a good win against Hawthorn.
Yes, it was.
And we've got now double the stuff to go through on our podcast, so it's a win-win.
I just want to lay a picture for everyone at home.
Paint.
Obviously,
How about we paint the picture?
Not lay it.
Yeah.
I feel like you get the same out of both words. And then those from the podcast can only see us.
Sure.
And this blue wall that we think is a ripping wall. It's got marks all over it. But what we can see over at beautiful Casey Fields is there is cross-country going on from the local kids. That is the worst day on the calendar, and there's a headwind like none other down here today at Casey Fields.
Yeah.
These kids, let's say cross-country 3K from memory.
Yep. I think so. Yeah.
They're running 15 minutes today.
Yeah, it's no good. I remember these days really, really badly. It used to be the sick feeling in your stomach. It's a bit like a time trial, at a footy club. You just have this real bad sleep the night before.
you can walk cross-country if you wanted to.
Yeah,
you
but
can't walk a time trial.
That's a good point. Well, anyway, that's a good point.
There's always pressure on the kids to play footy, though.
Yeah, yes, exactly. There's a social pressure to run fast. You would have been a bit of a Mottram, Craig Mottram.
I did love cross-country actually in primary schools. High school was when I started to fear it a bit more.
Yeah.
You know, when the darts started coming in and...
Not great for
one thing led to
VO2 max.
Do you want to touch on... Yeah, so the 2-week break, unfortunately we missed pretty early on in the 2-week break, the golf game happened.
Yep.
And those that do follow Gus and Gawny, which I hope there is more than 10,000 now. We're starting to climb.
We've got the 10.4K we're up to. So
that's exciting.
That was very exciting.
Saw that I missed a putt to be able to send it to a playoff hole. And I missed it by a long way.
So we can break this down. A lot of ways to skin this cat. The first way is...
the two worst golfers of the day.
Yeah. So it was a really...
Originally, we were matched up because we were the two worst golfers of the golf group.
Sure.
And then we've gone and done the right thing and been the two worst golfers on the day as well.
Yeah. And what we really wanted we just wanted it to be close. We weren't expecting highlights.
Talk us through the first tee.
The first tee...
From your eyes.
So, look, the rules in golf are if you're the member and you've brought 3 people on, you tee off first. If there's 2 members... It's the lower handicapper that tees off first. That's the really old golf traditions. And since in the first group there was no members, the lower handicapper, which was Oscar Baker, teed off first, and he's pegged it up. And there's a bit of a bit of a hill that goes pretty much straight down. There's bushes and stuff everywhere, and maybe 50 metres to the fairway, and he's topped it.
50
feet, 25 metres to the fairway, and he's topped it. It's bounced a couple of times and just rolled straight in, and 30 blokes standing on this hill in front of the entire gallery. Not only has that happened, then our fearless leader, Max Gawn, has stepped up, pegged it in, and sent this absolute bomb straight down the middle.
Yeah.
And from there, I honestly thought so. I did this pre-game analysis, a bit of an assessment of both the competitors and strengths and weaknesses, and I said, Source needs to get off to a good start, which he just straight up couldn't have got up to a worse start if he tried. And he actually fought back, and we got to 18.
It was 7 points to 0 for a while there, probably by the fifth hole. And then we both turned at 9 holes at 10 points, which is, those that know their golf, that is genuinely no good.
Equal. All that matters is they're equal.
And then we finished into the round, I think it was 24 to 25.
But on the last hole, and the blokes have finished beforehand, so we're all coming back to watch the 18th hole. They're even, or you might have been one down.
I was one down.
On 18. And they both hit good drives, so there's that sorted. And then I think there's a bit of...
I hit an approach shot that got sort of
lost back.
But Luke Dunstan found it for me.
But it's not pretty. It's heart in your mouth type of stuff. It's beautiful viewing because you literally have no idea anything could happen. Literally anything could happen. And Gawny had let's call it a 10-metre putt to win, to send it to overtime. And he hit it 20 metres. So he's gone. And look, you miss all the putts you leave short. I respect the fact
I'm still to this day, I haven't seen a short putt go in.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. So, hats off to you being a man, not a mouse, and getting it past the hole. But
so, with this dragging on a little bit, and those that don't like golf, which I'm presuming is 95% of the listeners, there was a bet on the line. Oscar was going to give up golf for 9 months, which is something that he loves dearly. And then I said, I'll give up something that I love dearly, which we can all remember was ice hockey. It's
big ice hockey guy.
Something that I played passionately down at the Oakley skating rink.
The rink. So, look, it was a great day, had by all. Source Victor, but... I
haven't played ice hockey now for 4 weeks and it's killing me.
Yeah, golf's the real winner amongst all that. So, well done, Max. You were gracious in defeat.
Thank you.
With the week off comes some heartache. Reece Conker lined up to debut on the podcast. How did you go telling him that his spot was not going to be carried on this week?
Yeah, we haven't told him yet.
Yeah, so that was how, you see the podcast, you see a lot of highs, get a lot of positivity, positive lingers, springs to mind instantly. And this is the underbelly that you don't really hear about too often. So we couldn't have dealt with this one worse.
The first thing he said, he goes, you guys are just going to hang shit on me. I go, we're a positive podcast. Have you not heard about the rebrand? He must have listened pre-rebrand.
He must have stopped. He must have been so sick of the negativity that he stopped listening.
But he's also coming from Mundy and Logue or
what called the Bucks, the young Milwaukee
old man
Bucks.
And the young buck, or
I think they called the Milwaukee Bucks.
So he's not used to this sort of podcast.
Yeah. So I mean, look,
we'll get him on
eventually. Maybe not. That's the cutthroat nature of this industry. So sorry, Reece, if you're listening, probably not, but maybe next time. We've actually got a really special guest. Everyone will know who we've got based on the title of the podcast. But
wow, this kid has got a 200-metre lead already.
I just wanted to... she's not slowing down either.
Good on her. Anyway, sorry.
Probably cut that stuff out, won't we, about the cross-country?
Who knows?
She's gone. Topic. She's turned the corner.
It's better than the play-by-play each hole in golf.
Nah, see, I really enjoyed that. Reliving some good memories. Sorry. News. You got some news, Gibby, don't you?
I was really hoping this podcast was going to be booked in for a 7:30 a.m. slot because I could have gone with a contract, and that was obviously, we all know Simon Goodwin, an extra 2-year extension. You must be
took a piece of the pie.
Soft cap.
Yep. He's got his contract. He's here for a couple more years, which is exciting. I don't think anyone was worried. I mean, when he was having pots with me at the pub, there was a few people who were worried, but
you weren't. I think that I fed off your energy. I fed off your energy. Yeah, sure.
And I think he was comfortable with his position with the captain at that time.
If I'd have seen you there, like looking uncomfortable with your pot in hand, like, should I really be here sort of face, then I would have been like, geez, we could be in trouble here. You looked really happily placed next to him with pots, so good on him. Hey, premiership coach. Changer of our culture from woe to go.
Other positivity, the 5 blokes that were out last week with COVID, all available for selection, which makes our selection segment quite interesting if you want to drop 5 blokes.
Well, so you don't know that? So
Don't know
4
what
of them
though.
are, but Neil Bullen technically hasn't shown his face back at the club yet.
Haven't seen him yet.
He's out of isolation.
So
in
you're
time for the
backing
game.
in that he's going to be okay. Do you know if he's got symptoms?
No, I don't have.
Okay.
So you've
that
done no
information.
news work at all.
I'll run
You're
with it.
speculating.
So
I'm
speculating. Which is, I mean, it's your strength, so why go away from your strength?
Yeah.
But
Stay in your lane.
no, look, Jacko trained today, trained well. Petty trained really well. Took a hanger on Van Roosen, which was good to watch. Sparrow
was back.
was
Kazai
back and
Pickett
good,
was also back.
and Cozzy was back a couple of days ago actually. So
And
Cozzy,
hit track with a goose step that sent him into the stand. So he still got it.
We-
For those who are wondering.
we have lost one though. We'll let a. I mean, if we're not allowed, we'll get cut. But our fearless leader and 2 podcasts ago champion in Mark Williams, unfortunately won't be here this week. But lucky we got him. Lucky we got his podcast done.
Yeah. And who knows? That could be the best of Choco. He could come back a different man.
Yeah, he
COVID
could.
does things to people, which is why it's so not funny. But we wish Choco well.
We wish Choco well, and we know he's been listening because he is non-stop giving me feedback about every podcast since. So hi Choco.
G'day, Choco.
Let us know how we're going, please.
Oh, gee, that's funny.
We've got a record on the line this week for Bowser. So we were speaking about his win streak. He's currently equal top with 14 other people for games consecutive from debut winning
With 14 other people.
with 14 others, but
My
no
God.
one's got to 15. There was a Collingwood bloke in 1920 that got 18 in a row from debut, but he had missed games in between.
Sure.
We're talking consecutive.
Consecutive. So he could go 15 and that would be outright, and then he needs 19, so we need to win 5 more to be
Does he get picked
most
this
of
week?
all time. I'd like him to
So
get
he's in the
picked
team.
just to keep going.
Gibbo's picked him,
Sure, that's
and
good.
then all we need to do is win, and he has a record.
Yeah, well, that's incredible. 14 blokes have got won 14
And
games
no one
in a
can
row.
get to 15.
That seems ludicrous.
Did you see the stat during the week about Darcy Fort?
No.
Have you?
No.
Darcy Fort kicked his 12th career goal on the weekend, and he's yet to miss. And
Wow.
he now has the record. So
That's a
it
good
was Ryan Fitzgerald with 11. Fitzy.
He tweeted that, didn't he?
Yeah, so Fitzy's kicked 11, and Darcy Fort has gone past him with 12
All
straight.
right. Good on you, Dars.
Well done, Das.
Honorary friend status, that sort of stuff. So keep
try
it
and
up.
get him on.
Who knows? Yeah, I mean, I doubt it's going to happen. I doubt it'll happen.
We haven't had an Oppo player yet. I feel
Uh,
like Andrew Brayshaw's going to be our first.
Could easily be. Who else would we sort of into? I mean, the ruck
Fraternity.
cohort is pretty
Yeah,
tight.
there's actually a Ruck podcast. Have you seen this?
No. Have you
It's
been
called. It's called 200 centimeter plus or something.
on? Original?
Led by Gorringe and Sam Draper. I'm sure I'll get invited at some point.
I mean, probably as the All-Australian ruckman and skipper of the team, you're the best ruckman in the land.
But I like to stick to my podcast, unlike some
That's a good
who
point.
venture out to other rival podcasts. And
Yeah, in terms of naming rights, the flower pot. Are you talking about the flower pot stuff?
Hi Lily, if you're listening. Hope you're going well.
Probably too long for her and Nana Gibby now.
Nana
so-
Gibby?
Now, Gus had his inboxes open a short while ago. There is a Gibby in the flesh sitting in there.
And this is, we've decided off air, absolutely well and truly.
This is our first voucher. What's
this
second?
is voucher worthy.
Voucher number 2.
So what's happened here, and the photo is of this punter who's named Daniel Brady, who's seen Gibby from across the platform at a train station full
Is
of
this
people.
post game?
Nah, this was after work on Monday.
Full kit.
Full kit.
I was not in Melbourne kit.
No, I'll put the photo up so everyone can see. But if you can just imagine this mindset, this is how devoted our supporters are, because he's shouted across a platform the platform's full of people. Something I can only imagine to the effect of, and you can corroborate this, Gibby. Hey, Gibby,
You
I
were
need
there.
to get a photo of you. Can you please pose for a selfie? And then that's what you did, obviously.
Essentially, I had the AirPods in and all I hear is just a big Gibby just yelled across. I'm looking around, who's this? He's like, can we Gibby in the flesh? And so he's pulled out the phone, a long selfie.
What commitment. And people would have been looking, I have to imagine.
Yeah,
that
I'd
you drew
assume
some-
so.
This is what we wanted. I had someone the other day come up to me and said, I would love to get a photo of you, but as you said in your podcast, it's about Gibby and Wild Sun, so I'm not going to. That's respect, isn't it?
yeah.
Did you get a name? That's
No.
almost voucher worthy.
Yeah,
in and of
that's, I
itself.
should have. That person,
Next time someone comes up to you and says that,
Yeah.
or vice versa, it hasn't happened to me.
I also had someone that said, I've had 3 people in the space of 2 weeks that have requested Trent Rivers
Wow.
to come
Okay.
on the podcast. So apparently he's got, funny, they're all under 18.
Okay. Sure. Were they male or female?
Female.
Interesting.
Yep.
Oh, let's just call it a coincidence.
Coincidence.
So that's been. We'll get that one out, Daniel. Congratulations, because you've that's as good as we've seen to date, and we've seen some good stuff. So you'll be getting a $200 Sporting Globe voucher. Good friends of the podcast down there at Sporting Globe will look after you. But no, it's been I don't know if it gets better. How do you get better than that?
Well, you can. I mean, I'd love to see him out of work clothes.
Sure.
Oh, well, I wasn't in Melbourne clothes.
He still looks professional.
I'd love to see someone like when they're in the slips and you're batting, take a photo. Oh, that's pure.
Okay, well, if that happens, then
that's pure. And Wild Sawn, still nothing. Mustn't have many people in and around the Fitzroy area listening to the podcast.
I've actually got, and you brought it up, so I probably have to go with it. It said, it's one guy who, I'll forget the name again, the people, but he said, I've bumped into Wild Sawn twice. So first of all, take the photo. Second of all, he said he looks like the most Melbourne grammar nuffy that ever walked the streets of Fitzroy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's sure funny, and we all get that, but
we're past that now.
You got to get photos. Yeah. Let me just reiterate, for the avoidance of any doubt, if you see Sun in the wild, awesome. We're gonna need to have a photo. It's like the Tasmanian tiger. If you say, I saw a Tassie tiger in the wild, but you don't have a photo, no one's really gonna believe you. So, photographic evidence, please, and thank you for Sun.
Now, I don't want to be the person that brings up shapes again.
Sounds like that's exactly what you want to do, yeah.
So, Max, someone has messaged you with an interesting proposal.
Yep. Actually, someone we're going to try and get on the podcast in the future weeks. Come in, guest. You can come sit down. Just don't say a word. Don't look at us. Face the wall. So someone we're trying to get on the podcast over the next few weeks. Obviously, with COVID, it's hard, and the Zoom podcasts don't necessarily go extremely well.
We've tried.
So we're thinking Auntie Donna. For those that know Auntie Donna, comedian, group of three. So we're trying to see if we can get something going. But they've actually been they, not us, they have been contacted by Shapes.
Yeah, look.
And then he has gone to me, as he is a loyal listener. And, I mean, thank you. I know you're out there. Saying I can recommend, like I can throw your name forward and your contact details to Shapes. So they don't know anything about us, or are they playing with us?
I think Shapes, at this point, there's two explanations. One is they have no idea that we exist.
Yeah. Which I'm leaning towards, or they're playing with us.
The second is that they know this is a nerve for our podcast, and they're just working some really bare, exposed
and they
flesh.
Know we have no...
They have to.
Yeah, we have no contact with Glenn anymore. So
and we presented our evidence.
Can't get him in.
We presented the evidence. It could just be a coincidence they started... And you know what? I don't want to get into it.
I think they do know that we exist now. Broden has sent me a message. He said, I asked if they'd be interested in doing something with Max for the podcast, and they said they were keen. So it's a bit of a watch this space, but if it all falls apart, we also...
Broden is the Melbourne supporter of the trio, by the way, as well. So we might not get the trio in. Maybe just Broden.
We got an in-depth email from someone who is a part of a Melbourne supporter group called the Devil's Advocates last week.
Okay.
So he was just showing some support to your catchphrase. He's also a lawyer and has dropped a note to say that if things go pear-shaped, he can help us out.
Where have you been for the last 2 years? They just decided to spring into existence last week. Is that what's happened? Or
thanks, Ralph.
He's showing his support. So
now that we officially have contact and we're going to enter discussions, we think.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big couple of weeks.
And I'll dust off the Shapes file back at Gus and Gawny headquarters, dust it off, and there's some stuff to go through, mate. So,
hey, before we get to our guest, can I bring up one thing?
Sure.
In the Richmond game, the day we played Richmond, we changed change rooms. So there's only two teams that use the change rooms that we use as home, and it's Melbourne and Richmond. Mm-hmm. And everyone else uses the other change rooms as their home. So literally, we're in those change rooms when we play Richmond, and it's an away game, and that's it. I don't know why we pick our rooms. The other room are beautiful. They had TVs in the physio room, TVs everywhere, stuff hanging on, Foxtel on the TVs. Do you know when we watch Vision, like Goody will put a tape up at halftime to watch, they have to turn the lights off and then they have to turn it back on and everyone's covering their eyes. They have a dimmer in theirs. There's a dimming light in theirs. The showers were better. Everything was better. It was unbelievable. But we choose, as MCG, as our home, to use the away room.
See, the die's cast for me. It is, if you can picture our rooms, if you're facing the ground, are on the left, theirs are on the right. It's a literal flip mirror image.
Yeah.
So I was walking into walls. I was bumping into stuff that usually isn't there in our rooms. It's for me, my head's already in that room on the left.
The cool thing we have is we walk out of the members.
Yes, that's very cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, that's the reason why. Okay. Can we get a dimming light? Do we Bailey Fritz Electrical?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we'll have to prepay for 100 hours to get the 5% discount off the 101st hour, but you know, that's the sort of stuff Spargo's been working on. The photo of Spargs after the game was really well received. People really like seeing him going to work, so we'll get on to him. And, yeah, I mean, a light dimmer seems like that's well within Fritter's wheelhouse.
All right, we'll come back with T-Mac after this.
Thank you.
Now, Gus, we all know the team at Zurich Insurance are proud sponsors of the Gus and Gawny podcast.
Yes, absolutely. Huge supporters of the pod. I think they were our first sponsor and certainly our first platinum partner, which is a huge result.
Yes, and they've also been on board as a co-principal partner of the club since 2018 and have been protecting Australia for over 100 years.
That's right. They provide insurance for individuals and families, plus businesses large and small.
Now, Gussie, we know you're a big fan of protection, rocking your helmet at every chance you get, so this is very on brand for you.
You're absolutely right. To see how Zurich can support you, head to zurich.com.au or contact your financial advisor or broker.
Welcome back to Gus and Gawny. Firstly, we just got to go through the sponsors. Sorry, that's a bad take on the sponsors. This is a segment for the sponsors, so we're not just going to go through them. We're going to announce them proudly.
Hey, did you know that I needed insurance yesterday?
Yeah, and who'd you go to?
Zurich, straight away.
Well done.
Yeah, so
what was the website?
www.zurich.com, and boy, oh boy, everything that you could possibly need for insurance.
I reckon you put a .au on the end is my gut.
Well, they're worldwide, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but did you go to the Australian one?
No, I went to the worldwide one, so no AU. And boy, everything you need for insurance, they've got it all. We've also got some unreal silver level.
So there's one more. There's one more in between gold and silver, and that's the Sporting Globe.
Yeah, they've really done a lot of great work.
They're great down there. Obviously, Richmond is the one I go to, but there's Morty Alec. There's a Knox one. Pretty sure there's one out Geelong.
Yeah,
some of the best chicken wings going around.
Unreal. Yeah, if you're new wings, get down there.
I'll write that down. Chicken wings.
And then, of course, the staple, the podcast staples.
Well, I've actually decided to, those on the vodcast, I'm drinking out of my Lay Day coffee. And Lay Day's a great sponsor.
100%. You buy a metric tonne of their dried produce, you get 5% off the 101st.
Can I say I put in an order of it was $45 for this mug.
So you had to pay for it?
I paid for it, and I didn't get, and I'm sure Langers isn't filtering out thousands of orders a day. I reckon I might have been his only one for the day. And I'm surprised there wasn't like a note saying, "Hey Max, thanks for the support," or even like a little bit of coffee that came with the cup.
He's a cold, hard, stone cold businessman, so you got to respect that.
I got to buy 100 of them apparently.
East End Wine Bar,
Barbie Youngins, who are now deceased.
They're dead. R.I.P. It's been a good ride with them. Shapes pending some legal action. And
then our good mates at Bailey Fritz Electrical, termites.
Termites. Green zone termites. You need some termites taken care of, then get that in you. And
who is that?
That's Bowser's old man.
Bowser's old man.
Okay. Yep. And look, our guest Tom McDonald off the top. Tom, I know you're a real sort of business inclined bloke. You got any small business sort of opportunities for the podcast? Any sponsorships that we could sort of start working through? Or?
Look, at the moment, we all know I love my steak. So Butcher Club. I'm sure if you buy 100 ribeyes, you'll get one Scotch fillet for free.
100 ribeye, that's not bad because the Scotch is good.
Yep. So I'll get Sparks on that. The Butcher Club.
Talk us through. I love me meat, and so does Angus, and we're both part of the meat club.
Yeah. You are, yeah.
Tell me like the different parts of the cow. Like where's the ribeye?
Ribeye is comes off the actual rib, so that's the meat that's on the inside.
That makes sense. Where's the Scotch fillet?
Well, that is the meat in the actual ribeye, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
The porterhouse.
So if you get a T-bone, it makes the shape of a T. One side is the porterhouse, one side is the eye fillet.
And the T-bone is part of what? The rib cage as well.
I don't know, to be honest.
And the rump is the rump. The rump's a big
off the top, and has the fat layer on the outside. It's the rump cap.
Yeah.
Or pecana. I think it's called pecana as Brazil or sometime as well.
Yeah, nice. Well, thanks for coming on.
I have one more question, animal related. Can you talk me through bacon, ham, and pork? Like, I get it's all from a pig, but it just doesn't make sense how bacon and ham's different. Like, I'm presuming they're from is it a different pig?
One's ham. Bacon is the pork belly that's been cured and slowly cold smoked.
Yeah.
Ham is like the back legs, isn't it?
I think so.
Big ham
just shaved off.
And then that's like slow cooked and smoked as well.
Yep.
What was the other question?
Pork.
And how do they pull the pork?
If you slow cook pork neck or pork shoulder, then that's how you get slow cooked pulled pork.
Well done. Well done, Tom. You've passed
That's Tom
the test.
McDonald.
You passed the test. It's been great having you, mate.
Yeah, that's right. I'll catch you next week.
No, so...
how many barbecues are you up to talking about meats?
How many barbecues?
5 barbecues at the moment. I'm looking to sell 1 or 2 though, so...
Yeah, okay.
What? Slip into my DMs, anyone who needs a barbecue.
Any of them the same?
No.
So why are you selling?
What's different about the 5? You got like a smoker?
I just got I built a setup in the backyard, so I got a proper built-in barbecue with a bench top. So I removed my portable one that you now have. You got the same one?
The Webbecue? No.
The Ziegler and Brown.
The Ziggy.
Yep, Ziggy. I've got a fire pit, so you can cook caveman style.
Awesome. I bet you do that often.
I've got a Hester Blumenthal one that's like the rotisserie on the charcoal.
I went and bought a gas bottle from the local petrol station the other day down there in Rye, and I brought an empty one. I've never bought a gas bottle before. Have you bought a gas bottle
do
before?
the exchange.
You know, I used to work at a gas bottle plant.
I brought an empty one.
Yeah, you are a brain. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Well, that's not true. That's
And I was trying to get the barbie going for an hour. I called Tom. I said, "Your Ziggy's no good, no."
that's average.
200 games. Wow.
We're going with it. So first of all, you've been told early.
No, we don't. We actually don't know if you're playing. We're presuming.
No.
We
know. What are we talking about? This is our hot take.
Okay, our hot
We're
take.
going with it. Stuff it. We were thinking about how to.
Well done, mate.
We were trying to figure out how to hop, skip, and jump through these logistical and legal hoops. That can we go with this early? It's not going to be announced. This and that. And you know what we've decided is that stuff it. This is our. If it's our take, it's our take.
Yep.
So it's 200 games, Tom. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a long journey, I guess. But Rube said the other night, she goes, "Can you imagine actually being a premiership player and a 200-game player?" I'd never even thought about it really, but it's really cool.
To it.
Yeah, and she was saying, I'm not sure how many players. I think there's been like 15 or 20 who played 200. So, which is actually, I thought it'd be more than that. Did you gut feel? Do you think there'd be more over 160 odd years? That there'd be more than
15 to 20.
There's only been about 15, 20 guys who've played 200 games. So, pretty cool to have done that. And she goes, too bad that in the next 5 or 6 years, all these blokes are going to overtake you. You blokes and Track and all, Clayton and all those boys. But really, really cool to think that I've gotten to that point.
To think that, I mean, you just said who would have thought 200 games premiership player. You certainly would have been thinking that you would have been a premiership full forward coming out of the square when he was actually the guy that other teams would yell out, "Let him kick" at fullback.
Yeah, I remember, mate. Don't worry. It was my bloke who was playing on. He was like, "Let him kick."
You were suspect, although always confident in your own kicking.
Probably
but it turned out to be the complete opposite. Now you're a forward for both goals and field kicking, which is phenomenal.
I think it's the way you play as a defender. You've done a little bit of it. You find you're kicking a lot across your body. You're under a lot of pressure, and a mistake looks a lot worse than a mistake in the forward pocket. So, I think I have gotten better as a kick through my career. Probably wasn't suited to me. Someone who liked to take risks as well. As you know, I liked an inside 45 out of the back pocket, which wouldn't be tolerated so well anymore. But, and I think I've also gotten a bit better over 12 years of doing Choco's kicking and Kelly O'Donnell's crane kicking and all that sort of stuff. So,
Speaking of stuff that you probably wouldn't have expected either, we've obviously just spruiked your achievements. You're now a 2-time guest on the Gus and Gawny podcast,
that's massive.
elevating you into rare air. So
that's massive.
Big pump up there. It's obviously a
Nathan
dream
Jones,
come true.
Hamish Blake.
That could well be it.
Yeah.
Do you get a cash payment on the second one? Or
we'll speak to
Working on
Spargs,
that.
the sponsorship guy. We'll have a deal
talk to
for you.
Spargs. We can potentially get you something from Termites.
Yeah,
Cool.
Termite
Yep.
Pro.
Termites Australia or whatever they're
Green Zone Termites.
Green Zone Termites.
lucky I live in a brick house.
Now, I'm stuck on this backline stuff because I find it amazing how a fullback can go to full forward. There's a lot of evidence around of full forwards going to full back. I feel like that's more...
David Neitz did it.
David Neitz, okay. Well, one of the best ever Melbourne players did it, but...
He did, 3 or 4 years as a back.
Another one of those Gawny takes.
I'll just shut up then.
Well,
Well, a lot of them are doing what Paddy McCartan, full forward goes to full back.
Liam Jones,
Yeah, that happens a lot more. But I want Oscar McDonald, full back to full forward. Now back to full back. Great man, Porthouse.
Friend of the podcast? He was on for 1 second.
He never picked up, and then the one time he picked up, we had a nightmare. But I want to talk about Goody, 3 press conferences in a row. Not in a row, but over a 10-week period, got asked a question about T-Mac going back. And he categorically said Tom McDonald will not play defence in this team again. And then comes to North Melbourne.
Black and white, was it?
Adam Tomlinson unfortunately goes down to a season injury, and T-Mac has to go back. And I'm seeing him there. He played the whole game because Tomo went down the first quarter. And now you're the Adam Hunter swingman again.
We've done it twice already, and
Twice this year.
just trustworthy, I guess. Chappie always gets me on the phone and he goes, "Guess what, big fella?" And I'm like, "What, mate?" He goes, "You coming back?" And has a good laugh at it. It's the funniest thing ever. And I'm myself going, "Oh, God, I got to go down back again." Because it is nerve-wracking, especially when you haven't done it for a while. You just worried, you had a bit of fun with me with the spoiling. But your first contest or two, you're like, I just don't want to look like an idiot here. So you just do a big fist rather than
Golden
trying to mark
fist.
it or
Classic T-Mac spoil.
yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
So you saved a couple goals on the weekend, including Harmsies, which is...
Saved.
Got a lot of noise. You guys got interviewed at the same time after the game. I didn't realise how much of a big deal it was until afterwards I saw like Harmsy, it probably is a goal of the week nomination.
Oh, your best.
So,
Max.
but I'm marking it, I think. I'm marking it. Are you marking it?
Yeah, I'm marking it.
Well, you don't know. You guys, well, a lot of people want to rip me. A lot of Melbourne supporters telling me I'm a
but that's-
wanker and all that sort of stuff.
That's pretty
but-
common week to week, isn't it?
Yeah, that's standard. And a lot of people who obviously haven't played footy because if you're sitting under a banana that's coming in the top of the square, you look like a bigger idiot if you let it bounce and you're in the points section and it goes through. Or like I have no idea where I am. I'm just watching it and going.
The replay looks bad, but that's because you can see.
Oh, the replay's catastrophic.
Yeah, but it looks bad. But in that moment, you're not thinking about how you're looking from the angle on the second floor of the MCG. You're sort of trying to...
You're just trying to kick a goal.
Even Weeds looks disappointed, who's in the goal screen with you. He's like, oh, Tom.
There you go. That's say no more because if Weeds is disappointed in you, then that's...
But I get
a lot of
the
people who haven't
explanation.
played footy don't understand what that's like.
The banana could come backwards. It could bounce on
if
itself.
it bounces and
A drop
goes
punt could do
sideways.
that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Harmsy carried on a tiny bit for mine. He had his arms up in the air.
That doesn't sound like Harmsy.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like Harmsy at all. But no. But then obviously went and saved a couple of Hawthorn's goals, which is where I was getting at.
It's not like we didn't kick a goal. It was either a mark or a goal. So like,
We actually got a good breather.
Yeah. Is there a
Took a
rule
minute.
goal assist of the year? Is that a thing? Can we get that off the ground?
I don't really want to.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm just trying to make Harmsy happy. He said he's a bit flat.
Did Langers get a little bit too much of a reward from kicking goal of the year nomination round 2 or 3 because he's gone for one of them every game now?
Yeah, he's obviously... Yeah, I mean...
Should we pull it back?
No.
Keep letting him be positive?
Let him go nuts.
Okay.
And he
He
got
kicked one at training today.
Yeah, he's a free. You did too. That was a good goal.
I want to talk about the granny. We talked about Premiership player before. I haven't had you on since the granny. I have spoken to you since the granny, believe it or not.
Yep.
But
One of the moments of the grand final for mine. I don't know if that's what you're going to go with.
and it's a great explanation. So a lot of people ask Tom, and I'm going to ask you now.
What were you thinking?
Why did you have the set shot after the siren? And you'll answer with...
Well, I've got a few different answers depending on...
Go nuts.
Do the funny one.
The funny one is hadn't had much of a touch of the footy all day and needed to make the stats look a little bit better so that, 20, 30 years' time when Leo and Bella grow up and there'll be a record or something around that we've kept and I'll go, Dad kicked a couple of goals and that's nice and well done, Dad.
Yeah.
Not mention when they were and scoreline and that sort of thing. But the other reason was, it was still sort of, I had the 20 seconds there waiting for the siren and I'm like, well, I've waited here for the whole time. I might as well kick it. So
Were you nervous?
Nah, it was actually the easiest kick ever. I'm like,
Really?
well, who cares if I miss it? There's no
exactly.
pressure
You
at
just
all.
want a flag.
Yeah.
I
saw footage for the first time the other day. Someone had like sideline footage where they're like, I wonder what Tom McDonald was doing when he was waiting because the camera cuts to everyone else jumping on each other.
Yeah.
I just sit there and give a little single fist bump to yourself and then go back and just start spinning the ball again.
I think I came in hot to you.
Yeah.
I got in real early to you.
That's incredible. Your mental fortitude, because I was one of the first in that pylon and it was well within your field of vision of...
you would have been about 2.5 metres on my left. So.
100%. I don't know how you didn't just set fire to a torpedo and get in on it. So
I would have, as soon as the siren went, personally, would have held the ball up in one hand and ran a lap of the ground.
Like Hibbo.
Like Hibbo with a cup.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's funny.
Okay, nicknames. I've brought this up a couple of times with you. I reckon I even might have talked about it on the first podcast that you're on here, but I want you to see where you're at. He's got a lot of nicknames.
Yeah, we were
I'm
just
going to go through them.
before.
These are the ones that I know of. There's probably more. T-Mac, T-Bone, Macca, Bow, Wonderbow, Gance, Arrow, Freak, Lynx, Tommy, and Brain.
There's definitely more, but that's the core ones.
And which one's your favourite? You like Bone, don't you?
I like Bone. I still love Gansey, but I only get that from players back in 2011.
It's when a
2012.
past player comes back, like a Lyndon Dunn comes back, he'll call you Gansey, won't he?
Yeah.
Which is short for arrogance,
Arrogance.
which is stiff on Tommy. He was a bit of a prick when he first rocked up, but to get that nickname Gansey,
You must have had to be a real...
because
prick.
I was shocking as well, but I didn't get a nickname at all.
I just had I think there was a very much a quiet confidence, whereas yours was more of a clown joking type. So mine was, well, who does this bloke think he is?
Sure. Tom's come in and gone, I'm better than James Frawley on day one, pretty much, without saying it.
Well, the club did trade Riv away, so I could play, so
I mean,
stuff him.
proof's in the pudding. You're a
Well, you're
Premiership
200
200 game, two-time Gus and
Two-time-
Gawny
yeah, exactly.
podcast goer honorer.
What else? Like Bow. That's because we always used to go to Wonder
You
Bow
love
in
a
the
bow.
city.
You love a bow.
Love bows.
T-Mac, obviously. Macca, obviously, because you know. Not many Maccas, but there's a few. Lynx.
Lynx, because there was Max Rook was the forward line coach. Everyone had to pick an animal that they played like, and it was meant to be a predator. And the apex predator of the Eurasian continent was a lynx. So
I'm sorry, all those nicknames come a far distant second to the Cassowary.
Cassowary.
Is he a friend of the podcast?
No, Cass didn't come on the podcast. I don't think.
Spewing. We should get him on.
Cass has been out with concussion for a while. Hope he's going
Well, he
okay,
needs to
Cass.
fire up.
Sending you our best. And Brain. Brain's my favourite because you got two little brains.
Yep.
How are they?
Nah, Bella's a brain. Leo's very smart.
Ah, right.
Yeah, he's going to be smart.
How are they?
Good. Leo's spewed everywhere last night, which was
that's
awesome.
good.
Awesome.
But Bella's good at childcare today. Gets a bit of energy out, so that makes it nice. But no, she's very funny. Lots of words, starting to carry on, and no, they're going well.
What high chair do you use?
We got a lot of social feedback.
Don't know. If they're not a sponsor, we won't mention them.
We're
But
looking for a high chair sponsor.
Yeah, how do you go with cleaning your high chair? What's your tactic? And
just cloth.
and kid.
Cloth it all onto the ground and then vacuum clean it or wipe it
Cloth?
off. Yeah.
What if it's
just-
like bolognese everywhere?
Yeah, just push it all down to the ground
Yeah.
and then get it off the ground while he sits in the chair. Then get him clean and let him out.
There has to be a better way than that.
So I got sent through something. I'm just quickly trying to whip through.
I think there's a market for a better way than that. And someone sent me something actually. I forget what it was, like a genuine like a poncho that can cover the kid and the chair. And
some
the
people
couches
do
and everything.
like a twister plastic mat on the floor
Yep.
and you just fold it up into that and then rinse the whole thing off in the bath.
Can't be good for the environment, can it?
No, we don't throw it out. You
Sorry,
rinse it
not
off.
thrown out. Okay. And I've got another question because I brought up two regarding kids. Do you often stay away from home and you need a porta cot?
Yep.
Oh, I've got another one.
Why
of
the
those.
why porta cots make no sense? Because you got to lower the baby to the ground and they wake up by the time they're lowering all the way to the ground. There has to be a porta cot that's like waist height. Do you
I don't know
agree?
what's wrong with your parenting skills, but my kids go to sleep when I put them in a porta cot.
Do they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
There you go.
I have gone looking for.
George is a smartass.
We had a bit of chat about on the socials about how much of a goose you are, Max, for not
Yep.
being able to figure out your appliances,
Yep.
child appliances, and haven't found any of them, but have found a photo of Lingers wild in a Fitzroy pub. So I'll put that one up on the socials as well, and an unreal photo as well. He's wearing a rainbow coloured jumper. What a flog!
Have you got much else for Tommy?
No, mate. Look, I really was just keen to go hard on the 200 games, get that out there, because make a name for ourselves is a bit of a newsbreaker. But no, that's about the long and the short of it for mine.
I mean, obviously, I'm a proud friend. It's been a good journey for you. We've both been through a lot. We always joke about we've both been through a lot, but I was sitting on the sidelines watching a lot of the bad stuff where Tom was actually playing in them. Tom played in some absolute shockers. The Essendon game, probably the peak. I think.
We didn't play. You and me were both emergency for the Geelong loss.
Geelong game.
We didn't play VFL either, so
Yeah,
we missed out
we were
on
best seats in the house.
Yep.
We didn't play. We didn't play at all.
Was it team bus home or individual cars home?
That Geelong game, we actually stayed the night before, which is
Stayed the night
the
before, but
first
we
time
came
we
home
ever did it.
afterwards.
Never did it again.
I actually, after that game, because I didn't play, I went back to the Amy Park gym and I did a bike and weight session. And that got back to a board member or something who thought it was the best thing ever. And I think that's what got me the next contract, because they're like, this bloke went and did a bike after the loss. Little did you know, I didn't play the VFL game either, so I probably needed to do something.
Me, Tommy, and Clint Bartram all were emergencies, and we all played the next week because we were the three most
I mean, I
informed
can't
players.
imagine there had to be turnover from that game.
And then some really individual tough times, obviously, when you got thrown into the ruck in 2017 and you found yourself as a forward. And then to see yourself at the end of this with two kids, 200 games, premiership player,
2 times appearance, Gus and Gawny.
2-time Gus and Gawny appearance.
2-time goal kicker.
I've thought about a bit of that stuff. Like, look, I know yours is probably your career went more. You didn't go your way you wanted early for 3 or 4 years, and then it's gone the whole way. I probably had a good start early. As you said, I've had some different periods. I had part of the hub year not playing. I've had some challenges this year. I've had years where, like last year, it all went right. Got to play in a premiership. So, but I kind of think, having gone through all the different stuff that's happened, forward, back again, and I reckon it's actually going to be a really cool thing to look back on and go, well, I was part of some of the very worst, part of some of the very best. Got to learn a few lessons about, bouncing back, resilience, about learning to deal with success, learning to deal with things that go wrong. So, look, it's not a perfect career, but more than happy to have called it mine, and hopefully it goes for a little bit longer. But, it's been really good.
Darkest day of your career. I don't want to bring it up, but I will. It's like Cam Pedersen used to love bringing up darkest days of careers. Your darkest day of your career, I'll happily say it.
I don't know which one this is.
We're on Maroochydore Oval 2. Because on Maroochydore Oval 1 was the under-12 Maroochydore girls team.
Yep.
So there was a team full of Collingwood, St Kilda, Melbourne players all jam-packed together.
North as well, I reckon.
There was no VFL, so it was just like whoever wants to play. I think Tommy was on the same team as Mason Cox, Tom Campbell and Majak Dor, who were all like North Melbourne, Western Bulldogs. Like there was people everywhere. And it was that was an interesting game of football that I went down to watch that day.
The thing was, we were playing on the second oval. There was an under-12s Maroochydore local league going on the main oval, and no one knew that there was an AFL game in the second oval.
They had more of a crowd. It was phenomenal.
Look, that's and how far you've come from then, T-Bone. You want to talk about bounce backs and resilience? Yeah, God, it has to be.
I thought you were going to say worst experience was Satantare Halpin kicking 5 on me.
Oh, that was special.
That's probably second.
It was almost COVID year because there was no crowd, but it was actually not. It was 2014. We just had 4,000 people there at the G. And Satanta kicked 3 in the first quarter, and I've never heard someone more loud in my life than Satanta after he was kicking the goals. It's Tommy, poor Tommy. You hadn't had many bags kicked on you, but 2 of them were Satanta, and the other one was Travis Cloak. And
that was 7 straight, wasn't it?
And they both agreed to go on the couch before that game.
Wow.
So they were on the couch afterwards. Tommy's had 7 kicked on him by the guy they're interviewing.
I thought it was a good idea. He goes, you get paid $500 to go on. I'm like, oh, awesome, that'd be great. Yeah, you're going with Travis. And I was sort of like, I'll play well, I'll beat him and kick 4 of me in the first quarter, and I got shifted off him straight away and then had to sit next to him. Not worth $500.
That was, to be fair, that was the closest you got to him on the couch.
Yeah. No, I think I was very close. He was just bench pressing me off and just chest marking in the square.
All right, thanks, T-Mac.
Yeah, well done.
Good luck this week. You're flipping the coin, and you'll also be doing the captain's speech. So,
okay, I'll have to put a few sentences together.
Yep, better than Harmsies.
Yeah, well, I can speak English, so. Thank you, boys. We'll see you there.
Thank you.